I do not have Twitch open myself, so in case anything does go wrong, try to notify me in chat. I do have it open, so I should see everything. Can someone confirm if the stream is live? Also, little suggestion. I know I have a very beautiful voice, but if you don't want to hear me twice, make sure to mute either TeamSpeak or the Twitch stream. All right, let's get this thing going then. In case any of the CCs wants to do a last minute bump to get some more people in, that's fine. And Reaper, can you start the TeamSpeak recording, please? Oh, she already is. Great. Yes, as Muzzle said, I will cover that myself as well. All right. Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Let's get this thing going. Welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Carl. Well, normally pronounced as Kareltje, but for most of you, it's probably going to be easier to just call me Carl. Allow me to introduce myself a little bit. As of right now, I am a soon-to-be graduate in finance and insurance with only my internship ahead of me next semester. And I will stick to studying and go for a Master of Science in Business Administration next year, probably. For a living, I work as a bookkeeper in one of Belgium's biggest distribution companies, just to get that little bit of extra financial accounting experience in there. In TAW, I originally joined under the League of Legends division almost 4 years ago, only to join Sentinel later on, a couple months later. And to some, Sentinel is unknown, but today it's better known as EDU. TAW's home for plenty of educational information for the community to use. And I was able to be an intricate part of EDU's growing process, and I do aim to stick around, as long as life does not hit me in the face along the way, of course. But enough of me, and let's get started with what you all really came for today, most likely. And that is today's TAW University on the topic. I did cut out. Yeah, when did I cut out? Can anyone tell me from where I cut out?
When you started saying enough about yourself and about why we're here.
Yeah, so let's get going there again. Enough about me, and let's get started with what you all really came for today. Today's TAW University on the topic of recruitment. And this presentation will be a reiteration of Natalino's presentation on recruiting, given in June 2017, where I will be going over most of the information he shared back then, as 98% of it is still very current and applicable to all, if not at least to most of you. I will be giving tonight's lecture, however, a little twist to it. Not only will I do my own version of Natalino's presentation, I will also allow you guys, as an audience, to chime in and share your experience as well tonight. So let's start us off with a few important things to note. Recruiting is very situational, and not all the points mentioned here tonight will be applicable to you or for you. This presentation is also not 100% comprehensive, and that's why, as I said before, I am leaving you guys the opportunity to interact and give it that extra little bit of information you have that I possibly do not have. But please do note that your personal experience might be different. Some things might have worked out for you, but it might not for others, and vice versa. Regardless, the goal tonight is to share information and experience and try it out for yourself. And since I will be letting you guys interact tonight, I do expect the chat to stay as much as possible related to the topic only. And to control the length of an already lengthy presentation, I will not allow anyone to speak up during the presentation, but instead will read out loud some of the comments you guys make. For those interested, do stick around after the event and feel free to chat with others about tonight's topic and discuss how you can help one another. And I've probably said it already 4 or 5 times, but tonight's topic is all about recruiting. And we'll look into why, how, and where to recruit, as well as when to recruit and who needs to recruit. And we'll wrap it up with some final thoughts. The first point we will look at is the importance and reason of recruiting. And before you put time into recruiting, you definitely want to know why you're doing it in the first place. So why recruit? Right off the bat, you see a whole lot of reasons or benefits. Call it whatever you want to. But recruiting is the life of your division, and as you recruit, your team gains but also loses members. Inactives get discharged while new people get bootcamped. And in most cases, recruiting is going to sustain your battalion or division, and it's going to be your main incentive and your main motivation. Another good reason to recruit is the possibility of gaining new, valuable members and leaders. People come and people go. But the future leaders, of course, but the future leaders of your game are going to be amongst those people who join. And with numbers, activity also increases. And the more people around, the more likely you get to play with others. And the more fun this community also becomes. You will also have a wider range of possibilities for conducting events. You'll get to meet new faces. And let's be honest, recruiting is really fun once you start to see results. Of course, these are just a few out of many. Let me ask you, what are some of the reasons or benefits you guys think about or have? But please keep it short and sweet so I can read out as many as possible. But feel free to write them in chat right now. More people means more opportunities. Yes, true. Come on, guys. One more, two more, three more. Oh, there we go. Teaching people about our awesome community. Hell yeah. It makes the game more fun, more people you can make friends with. More content for all, you can learn something new from everyone you meet. And it keeps coming. So as you can see, there's plenty of reasons, plenty of benefits for recruiting. Moving on to when and where to recruit then. And the answer to that question? All the time, really, and everywhere possible. It does, however, leave you with yet another question. Where do you start? What should we use for recruitment and where should we do that? And as you can see, there's a lot of options. Below, you can see probably the most relevant options that many already know of. My advice is to use them all and increase your reach to all over the world, hence the globe. Each of the options mentioned will be covered briefly in the upcoming slides. So let's start off with recruitment posts. And back in June 2017, Natalino claimed this to be the main source of your recruitment. Oh well, a long time later, I still have to agree with it. Why? Well, because what better place to recruit than at the source of your game? Their own website. And well, you can make your recruitment post on any recruiting forum your game offers, really. There are, however, a few things to take into consideration while doing so. Read and follow the forum rules first. And I cannot stress this enough. Rules are there to be followed, as much on forums as it is here in TAW. And the last thing you want is for your post to be taken down, you getting banned on the forums, or worst case scenario, TAW getting a bad reputation within your game, and that's the last thing you want to do. When you start typing out your recruitment post, the first thing you think about is a title. There are going to be tons of clans, communities, groups recruiting. And you want to make sure your post stands out and gets clicked upon. Personalizing it by adding a hint to the game could be a way of getting your post to stand out. And well, an example could be um, Ta is looking for EU, NA, and Oceanic summoners, with summoners referring to the players in League of Legends, for example. And well, let's assume you've now convinced them to click on your post. The content is the next factor uh, to get them into TAW. I mean, and from here on out, it really depends on your game. But one thing is for sure, you want to stand out again, and you simply cannot have the same stuff in there that every other community clan or group has. You want as much information in as little amount of space as possible, because people nowadays have very little time. So if you want to recruit them, you really don't want to go into the Guinness Book of Records for the longest recruitment post ever. Convince them quick and give them a reason to believe why TAW is what they're looking for. Next to that, you will of course have to specify some things. You will have to specify the kind of players you are looking for. So try to mention what you are really looking for. Is it casual? Is it competitive? Is it both? What regions are you looking for? NA, EU, Oceanic, or other things? But my advice is to be cautious with being too specific, as you may probably scare people away like that. And talking about scaring people away, please, please avoid being overly specific about the complex system TAW kind of has, really, if we're honest about it. Don't mention words such as boot camps, mandatories, or AWOLs. You'll have plenty of time to explain those things once they applied, and you can scare them off then. Really, of course you don't want. I do seem to cut out every now and then, so I do need to really quickly fix a setting. No, I can. Let's just keep going. So, you all you all got that information now? Yeah, good. So, your post is done now, and now comes the biggest challenge. You must do everything you can to always keep your recruitment post on the top of the forums, but do not use words such as bump or anything related to that, really. Be creative and use techniques such as getting members to make reviews about the community on the post, which not only bumps it up, but also gives more information about the community. Something else you could do: discuss things such as how the last mandatory went, or how you guys did on a game yesterday night. Make the reader want to know more about TAW. Of course, these recruitment posts, you can post them on forums, but there are also official sites and fan-created sites dedicated to looking for a group, commonly known as LFG or LFM, looking for more or looking for a group. And you can contact them and get them on TeamSpeak instantly from there. But yeah, that was quite the explanation, huh? Trust me. We'll be going a lot quicker over the remaining options of when and where to recruit. The next option being Steam. And you might think, Steam? Not every game is on Steam. Well, regardless of your game being on Steam or not, there will always be gamers on Steam, one way or the other. And Steam offers a few opportunities. First one being the Steam forum, where you can post your recruitment post as well. Steam groups, where you can search for Steam groups of your game and join them. See if there's people in there that want to join you. Steam friends are also another way for you to recruit. You will find many players in your own Steam friends list from the previous games you were playing with, which you can also add as a friend and possibly recruit into TAW. Maybe some of your existing friends, your real life friends, you can recruit into TAW through Steam, or through any way, actually, really. And lastly, Steam does offer this neat thing called a tag, which I believe in most games you can it will be visible if you add a Steam tag. And players can then potentially ask what TAW is, or maybe they'll be looking it up themselves. You can look at it as passive recruiting, or let's see. You can look at it as passive recruiting, as it does require little to no effort, but really does showcase our community out there. And just need to click, choose tag, click on TAW, and voila. Next option for recruiting is in-game recruitment. Well, uh, without a doubt, it's probably the most fun way of recruiting, as you can recruit while playing. Amazing. Sadly, when you are focusing on your own game, which any true gamer would, it's gonna be hard to equally focus on properly recruiting as well. And well, by no means is in-game recruiting a bad way of recruiting. But if you ask me, it should not be your main source of recruiting. It should be a secondary choice of recruiting, but try to make sure you use others as well. Regardless, do not shy away from it, as I myself have seen a lot of people recruit through making friends in game. While recruiting in game, the methods you can use are both in-game chat and private messages, which I do think most multiplayer games normally do offer. I do want you to be cautious.
You cut out.
While in game, and if your game offers the option, wear your TAW tag, as we discussed before. And as you can see on the presentation, remember that in game, you are representing TAW. Treat other players with respect and follow the rules. If you do, you are much more likely to gain recruits. Moving on to the next slide. Very true what Kynelman says. Make sure not to give out the TeamSpeak password in public chat or in-game chat, for that matter. Private chat or messages should be okay. Um, so as I said, moving on to the next slide, which is social media. Well, social media. I'm gonna assume most people know it, but social media includes Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, all platforms where TAW is present on. And it's yet another place where you might just find gamers looking for groups. And that alone is enough reason for you to be present on there as well. Make use of whatever the site offers to reach out to others is my advice. Uh, and I also do encourage the appropriate people within each game. If you have PIAs or if you don't, let your TFOs do it. If your TFOs delegate it downwards to someone else, that's all up to you guys. But I do encourage, as I said, the appropriate people within each game of TA to chat with SOCOP's PIA liaisons to discuss how you can use social media to its fullest capacity for your game. And now that we're talking about SOCOP, let's also talk about TSO, or rather, streaming. Most likely, in my personal opinion, the best way of getting people's attention nowadays. I mean, look at big streamers like Ninja playing Fortnite, for example. I'm sure he plays other games, but Fortnite is all I know about that he plays. Anyway, streaming is most likely the best way of getting people's attention, and it is, however, not the easiest, as you need an audience to get any possible recruits out of it, of course. It is, however, really effective in my eyes once you get a hang of it and maintain some frequency. With streaming, it does also depend on many other factors, such as, let's say, the streamer, the game, how much active streams there are in that game, and other things. But, well, whatever the case, streaming is something you usually do out of enjoyment for yourself, so doesn't really hurt doing it, right? You should look at it again as some passive recruitment. I do want you to note the following things. Work, first thing being work with TSO. They are there to set up streams on the TAW.net Twitch account, or the TAW Gaming Channel Twitch account, if I'm correct. And you really want to meet with TSO, because without meeting with them, you can't really use those channels. You need to do a TSO workshop first and all that stuff. But it's important to, next to that, also share experiences with them. Help you set up the right things. They're very helpful with that. Things I can possibly help with is have a good overlay that really shows and promotes TAW. As you can see right now, at the right top side of my stream, I've got the TAW.net logo. Even at the bottom, we have the TAW Art of Warfare, the Art of Warfare University little icon there. My advice is also, as I do think a lot of popular streamers have, and maybe just regular streamers as well. I'm not too super known with Twitch, but a lot of people have these pop-ups, these things like when someone follows, when someone subscribes, and you can do the same with a little message saying TAW is looking for more players. Again, just like being careful to like not spam people in messages. Don't necessarily to overly promote TAW here and there. If I do cut off every now and then, I do apologize. My microphone is, for some reason, cutting off every now and then. But let's go to the next option here to recruit, which is recruitment drives. And the first thing that I do want you to know is that you can use recruitment drives to give the initial motivation for your division or battalion to recruit, equally as much as to boost an already going effective recruitment, really. Just like most of the options I just mentioned, this is more of a secondary option. I do recommend doing it every now and then, but definitely don't do it all the time. The same also goes in case you already have members who have been recruiting but are dropping off a little. Still a good reason to maybe hold that recruitment drive, get them motivated a little bit again. It should, however, be treated as an all-out campaign rather than the only reason to recruit, as I just said. Because trust me, it should really not be. And well, now that we know how to use it, let's cover what to keep in mind when setting it up. With recruitment drives, you want a little bit of motivation. So start by preparing some prize awards. It really does not have to be expensive. I definitely do think you can check previous recruitment drives if you're not sure about what prizes to go for here and there. You also want to set up the rules and specify the winning terms, and you should think of ways you can of how you can make it more effective overall. You also want to make a decent amount of announcements about it and remind everyone in regards to the drive whenever possible. In addition to all of that, of course, you should specify who can partake. Is it division wide? Is it TAW wide? Do you include officers or the division or not? Is it staff only? Is it members only? Can your DIs? There's a countless amount of limitations you can do, but make sure you do mention them. And my last advice here as well is make it have some healthy competitive feeling, really, because that is what the community drive and what the prizes are about. It's about winning something while growing your division, doing it for your division equally as much as you're doing it a little bit for yourself, because you enjoy recruiting, but let's be honest, you probably also enjoy winning something every now and then. It's great. But hey, imagine this: you have tried everything, and it still feels like your game is just not going off the air like a rocket to the moon. It's still not effective enough for you. Well, let's say then you should improvise. And to make what we discussed here better, or to even find a completely new way to recruit, is what you should use improvising for. So, I'm gonna be lazy here. Everyone in this channel, enlighten me, enlighten your fellow co-listeners. What improvisations have you used in the past? And once again, please keep your answers short and sweet. Mhm. No improvisations? Really? Well, I guess we really need to sit together and improvise, guys. Hmm. Seems like I'm doing a great job covering most things. Or well, Natalino did, of course. I'm just giving it a special touch. Too much to write. Well, in that case, I do invite everyone to stick around after the presentation to discuss some of these improvisations, perhaps. So let's move on to the next slide then. Now that we know all about the most known and I suppose after the event we'll know more about the more unknown ways of recruiting, let's go to the next question we are going to ask ourselves. When do you need to recruit? And the answer is very, very simple. If your goal is high in numbers or activity, then recruitment should be a day-to-day process by you and others together. You can even specify tasks and days for each other, but the answer should always be When do you need to recruit? Every day. But once again, and I hope I'm gonna get responses this time, I'm gonna be lazy and ask this question to you guys as well. What do you think? Of course, every day is the general answer, but when do you think are the like better times to recruit? When do you get more effective results? Is it during holidays? Prime time at the peak time of this of your specific game? That is very true. I'm seeing that as multiple times. Recruiting is a slide in every open learning course. Very true. Games tend to be really popular during weekends as well, when everyone is off work or off school. Holidays. Yeah, I haven't thought about that one. When you finish top in a game and folks see your game tag, that's a good one. During the launch of a game, when some sort of relationship exists, is a very good one as well. Not always do you need to talk to someone right away of getting them into talk. Getting a little bit of a connection going first is a very good advice. What else do we have? I'm not sure if yelling at people with in-game voice chat in the middle of a battle is the best way. Thank you for your suggestion, though. But these are some long ones. Hmm. A lot of TAW recruits are brought in as friends of members. The best time to recruit is always because you never know when that one great person will be and you want to optimize your opportunities to scoop great people. Well, let's just say that's a good way to end the answers on that question. As you can see, every day is the easy answer, but you can go very specific with it. And I advise anyone present tonight to definitely write some of those down because there were some really good suggestions in there. So thank you for your answer, everyone. Let's move on to the next question. Who should be recruiting? Who? Who should be recruiting? Only staff? Members? TFO? Well, as I think Cazador mentioned, we already kind of spoiled it because on every open learning class, it does say everyone should recruit. And that's true. Everyone should be recruiting, or at least participating in some form of recruitment. But again, it should start. It should all start from the staff members, starting from the TFO. I definitely do think, as a TFO, these people do have an exemplary role, and what they do does affect their unit, does affect their entire game, their entire division. This is where the most important aspect of it is as well. Um, I should also know by now that there are many ways to recruit new players. But it's also not a one-person task since it takes a lot of time, energy, and it won't be as effective as a team-oriented recruitment. So really, it should be a combined effort. So I'm going to assume I cut out at let's talk about the ways that a staff member can use to involve the regular members to recruit or participate in an active recruitment. Well, you can ask them to invite their friends, ask them to initiate a conversation with you on the thread, or you initiate with them, and they take it from there. This way you will engage in a conversation there, which keeps the thread on the top. Um, and really, you at the end, you might even notice that those members you worked with on this pick up from there and make it their own habit. You don't even have to constantly push them anymore. They enjoy it so much that they do it themselves. And yeah, so really, who should be recruiting? Everyone. Really, everyone. Moving on to the last segment of the presentation tonight is the right mindset. And yes, everything mentioned here is very simple and basic, but that is just what recruiting is. But of course, as I just said, the right mindset, it is very important when recruiting. So let's talk about that. And recruitment is a very simple thing, as I just said, but you also need to put the effort in. Let's list some of these good, proper recruiting mindsets that I'm talking about. First one being that you would need to have a good place given to recruitment and that you should treat it as one very important aspect of your division. You also want to understand that recruitment must be a team effort and that it needs to include everyone starting from you as a TFO or starting from you yourself, not even as a TFO, even as a regular member. If you see you're recruiting like a lot and you see others not really doing the same, motivate them. Tell them your experiences with recruiting. Tell them why you enjoy it or why you do it. Get others along with you on the recruiting train. Really. Another thing you and your division need to have is that if a source of recruitment gives you one member in a long time, you need to believe that even if that source has only one member in a long time, it is still worth the effort of having that source of recruiting going. Even if your other sources are giving you 10 times that with less effort, now you have 11 members, so to speak, instead of those 10 members. And lastly, when we're talking about the recruiting mindset, it's important to have a passion for recruiting and have a great time while doing it because that's what it's all about. And by no means do I think that a passion for recruiting is there right away, that it's there from the beginning. Some people really don't think recruiting is their thing, but once they've maybe tried it out once, they're like, maybe I do like this, you know? And really, that is what it's all about, as I just said. Moving on to the next slide, as you can see, credits. I tried my best making sure this is going on for less than 45 minutes, which seems that I succeeded in. And with the credits, I do want to give a big thank you to Natalino for the original presentation. Um, I did compile it a lot, left out quite a bit of information, but I definitely think that the important information still got to you. And I'm confident that anyone feeling like there's still more to talk about, I definitely suggest for you guys to do that right away after I ended this presentation. Next to that, of course, I want to thank everyone else who helped in one way or another. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight, of course. And I sincerely hope that tonight really brought you some extra, or at least what recruiting is all about to you. Looking at this, I'm not sure if one of my fellow EDU members can maybe share the feedback link for
Yep,
this
one
TAW
second.
U.
Yep, one second.
I do appreciate anyone being here tonight, and I'd appreciate it even more if, of course, you could give a little feedback for tonight. Because, funnily enough, I've been a part of this place for 3 years, but this was my first time giving a presentation. Um, I was a little bit stressed, but I still hope I did a good job. Uh, so I'm not sure if the attendance at the end has been recorded. So please do not leave just yet.
Email has been taken. I'm sorry, not email. Attendance has been taken.
Great.
Yep,
Um,
it's gonna take some time for everybody to get their like technical attendance in the website because we have to do it manually with this many people. But yes, it will be in.
I do want to note as well that for attending this event, you will get a TAW U recruiting tab, a nice little shiny for all of you to spend your time in here. And I am really thank you, Crackles, for sharing your recruitment post. Anyone else, I do invite you to have a look at Ed, and of course, have a look at what Muzzle just posted. That should be, if you click on it, the exactly as you can see, TAW U Education Center feedback. Feel free to give some feedback, and honestly, I think I've let you guys suffer for long enough now. I've said everything I had to say. By all means, stick around, share more recruiting stuff to each other, and thank you for being here
Only,
tonight, really. Yes, Muzzle?
sorry, only because I saw it in chat. Pulse, you had a question? Pulse DC. And yes, you can unmute if you need to.
I will be stopping the stream, however.